Welcome back to this Let's Play, The Last Remnant. Last time we made our way down to the Koros tier, and well, off screen I tried to fight against the boss and I got pretty well beaten. So I've gone back up to town, I've resupplied, I've gotten a couple more of my party's weapons, and as you can see from my battle rank, I've got just about more cowbell than I had last time. I have a very strange little setup here. I'm going to go over it a little just briefly. Rush's unit here is our hexing group, and I'll explain why I'm doing that, because it's sort of a strange mix of party members. Jaeger's sect here is just a standard melee group, though they're in stacked attack, and the reason I have the sort of 1, 2, and 5 setup, if you look at the actual positions, they're all spread out on the screen, and that means that area of effect attacks won't hit as many of them. Just a precaution. Emmy's group, pretty much the same. Duke of Gore is now one of my Union leaders. Notice that I've taken two of my normally sort of Mystic Union characters and I've put them in Duke of Gore's group. Duke of Gore is really what the group is all about. He hits like a truck, and the other two people are there just so that the Union has resurrecting capability and healing. So we're going to have to do a lot of it. And Agent David has the last group here, which is just comprised of everybody I could find who only had ranged arts. So the point of this is more or less that Rush's group is going to sit in front, and Rush is immune to the most important attack this guy has, which is Enthrall, and by extension his entire Union is. The three middle groups are all just capable of healing themselves and bringing people back. I have at least one person with Kiss of Life, which is the Remedy's resurrection ability. It costs AP, but whatever. In each group. So, well, that's not a good sign. They're not getting... And this guy is a little bit like the Gates of Hell, in that you really don't want to commit all your unions at once. If possible, you want to get a union into flanking position, but you really have to make sure that you don't get everybody enthralled. I guess we're just going to use wards for the first turn. He uses much the same attacks that the Fallen did, but he has a couple of other tricks up his sleeve. Curse I'm not particularly worried about. This is sort of like a freebie turn for Jägermeister's unit. Again, like the Fallen, his attacks can inflict insta-kill. They didn't in this case. But we have a Union in flanking position. And I'm using... all my characters with wards are using them because, well, they're going to be useful. This guy has some fairly vicious attacks, including the usual end-around crap. Though I really would have rather had Rush's Union use some of this Cachexia, which now they're doing. Now I have two people there with Cachexia just because, well, it's safer that way. This Bewitched 3, this is what I'm primarily concerned about. We had Morphic Ward up, so that ate that damage from him. And then we hit him with Cachexia, and hit him with Cachexia again on a reassess, just for the fun of it. But that'll prevent his end-of-round craziness. And everybody else is more or less just focused on staying alive. I have a group in flanking position, which unfortunately can keep themselves alive. And I guess they're going to heal from back there too. Yeah, I guess he still has enough AP to do this. He'll also do Blackout and Rain of Blades and Fatal Eclipse, all of which are bad, but none of which are really terribly bad. It's mostly the concern with this particular enemy is that he will enthrall your units. So the primary concern is just keeping people alive and under your control. I'm a little concerned that Chexi doesn't seem to be stopping me from using this garbage. If I can go through this fight without anybody getting enthralled, I would be pleased as punch. You notice that some of my character's weapons are in fact quite different now. That includes Torgal's little wet axes there, which are somewhat different. I'm actually going to have this group break off, unless it's the only group that I'm sort of dedicated to keeping close in is the group that is in the flanking position. It would be nice if we had a summon, but I'll just have to do that. He doesn't always do an end of round attack. It's just usual. Unlike the Fallen, he never does a oops you lose move. So really the key to this fight is more or less just taking it slow, attacking from safety, i.e. either Rush's Union, which is immune to his major attack, or from the side here with these guys who are immune. Essentially they're not getting counterattacked because they are in position, I mean, they're flanking. So. And the problem is if he has insufficient AP for that attack, he'll probably have insufficient AP for his end of round presence. But that's okay. We have all sorts of unions on standby waiting for disaster to strike. So everybody's staying at full health, and we're doing damage. And that's good. That's all we want. Getting greedy in this fight will just end up with lots of dead people. Or lots of enthralled people, which will mean lots of dead people. I'm gonna hope that we don't have any more accidents this turn. Hopefully one of these guys will be out good. One of them reassessed using Kachexia, which, again, they're using too early. I actually used Pentacle Formation specifically because it gives speed penalties, and I was hoping that that would slow us down enough that we would always go after him. But, oh. Throw in an Omni Strike. And I never want to commit all my unions to the fight on any given turn. It's just bad news. That was some good damage. Unfortunately, again, Chexia came too early, so we're probably going to get the end of turn craziness. That's okay. He's not trying to enthrall my unions, and that's really where this fight gets hard. As long as he doesn't enthrall you, he's just doing damage, and that's easy enough to deal with. He has a couple hit points too. Just a few. I believe his hit points actually depend on your battle rank, but somewhere in the millions. Unfortunately, it looks like Agent David's Union will not survive this time. Oh wow, they did! Alright, well, I'm just gonna have everybody, oops, that's my flanking union, I don't want them to leave. Gotta make sure that flanking union stays in position. Now this is the ideal, is that you Cachexia before his action and after his action. So he can't actually attack for that turn, and he doesn't have enough AP for his end of turn silliness. What would really be ideal is if I could get a summon out there, and then have Rush's group go into a flanking attack. Since he's a ninja, he sometimes will get them, even if he doesn't quote-unquote deserve them. And then Cachexia would always be happening later in the turn, and that would be nice. But, well, I can't complain with what's going on. I think my flanking group... Good, no end of turn silliness. And here's a weapon art we actually haven't seen yet, because, well, I've actually been using Demigod as a background character rather than as a front row character, and now that he's got some time in the front of a union, I'll actually have a chance to use it. Just hope the Hand of God here doesn't kill my... Yep. It killed most of my union, but it did not kill the person using Cachexia. That's all that matters. Well, for this turn. Eh, it's only 70,000 damage from the pizza cutter. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't even think he could be paralyzed. Hand of God insta-kills through damage, so Rush is not immune to that insta-kill. He's only immune to insta-kill, just arbitrary insta-kill, like good old Remnant. It'd be nice if Rush's group ceased being quite so useless, but looks like all we're going to get out of this turn is a stopped attack rather than a stopped end of turn mess. Lose a couple of unions to that end of turn mess this way. Well, some Alright, well, there's my least favorite Arcana. And normally, the expectation with Rush's group is that Blocker would be alive to have the Wonder Bangle stop the ailments, but apparently that's not happening, so we'll have to see how this goes. where having lots of people in reserve is very important, because sometimes things just don't go very well. Unfortunately, he throat salved the other Union, but did not throat salve. He himself is still in trouble. Yeah, this could be bad. Unfortunately, it's either we use Kachexa or we use Revitalize. Well, I'm going to use Revitalize and hope that it works out. Nope. Means my flanking group is not flanking anymore, unfortunately. Fortunately, also, though, we're pretty close to winning, so maybe this will still work out. Well, that was painful, but not devastating. Got probably deadlock my unions this turn, though, so. This is sort of the worst case scenario here, because I've lost control over the fight. And all I can essentially hope now is to kind of regain control. But that stops his end of turn madness, at least. Lost one of our Kachexa guys, but we still got one left, so. And since Blocker is still in that, is now still alive in that union, he will end the. Oh hey, Namantaram. Better late than never, I guess. Since Blocker is still alive in that union, nothing lasts more than a turn. Well, technically Wonder Bangle just decreases the duration of all negative effects by 5 turns, but none of them have durations longer than 3 turns by default, so. I think there are a couple that are like 4 turns. Oh, goody goodrich. But too late. Not the hardest boss in the game, but certainly not one of the easiest ones.
Sweet! My old age hasn't stopped me from growing. I'm not senile quite yet.
That means nothing to me.
I shall use this for the people of Atlan.
I know I'm good.
Yeah, we
Little by
learned
little,
all sorts of stuff.
I'm becoming stronger.
And you get 50,000 gold in the Eye of Life. And you also complete a previously unknown guild task, which gives you a formation I'll never use. Great, huh? In the Xbox 360 version, that's where you got Twilight of the Gods, instead of from The Fallen, but, well, we already have it, so. And this Treasure of Divinity is just bragging rights, pretty much. But that's the end of the Ancient Ruins, so It's just walk back up and walk back out to the world map, so we've seen that walk. And that's it for this episode. So, yeah, we have companions whining about stuff they need. But that eventually ends. But by the time it ends, really you should be done with the game. Next time, we're gonna have a little more of a fun fight rather than a real challenging one. See you then.